From that experience, I have strong convictions about national defense and anti-terrorism. I think we need a president who does not bow to other leaders. I think we need a president who does not give away our nuclear superiority. I think the terrorists should be kept at Guantanamo and should be tried in military tribunals. When I came back from Vietnam, I went to work in small business, the family business of Ben Franklin Store. Many of you will remember Ben Franklin Store. We used to jokingly say, if you can run a Ben Franklin Store, you can run General Motors. And here it turned out to be true. I could run General Motors better than those folks. I guarantee you that. I've also seen the business side of taking care of people's health in serving with the Jackson Clinic, a group of 120 plus physicians and over 600 employees. I was on that board for 10 years. I served as chairman of that board for 5 years. There's a lot of business involved in running a clinic that size. So I know that aspect of business. I've served on the West Tennessee Board of Directors of Regions Bank for about a decade. And I went back to school last year at UT Knoxville and earned a master's in business administration. Graduated December 11th. Had no idea of being in politics at this time. Just did it because I wanted to go back and do it. But I'll put my business credentials up against anybody in this race. And this is the time we need someone with business experience in Washington. I can take that experience to Washington. Most of you know I'm a physician. For 33 years in training and private practice, I've listened to patients and tried to help patients solve their problems. And that ability to solve problems on your behalf is directly transferable to Washington. I want to go to Washington and solve your personal problems that you have with the government, and I want to help solve these enormous problems that are up there in Washington that face our country and our economy, and all of those things that we're doing wrong now. We need to turn around and do right. We need lower taxes, we need less government, we need more personal freedom. That's what we need to go after. And this government we have now is going in the wrong direction. Right? In addition to the personal aspect of healthcare, I've told you I worked at the Kirkland, served on the board. I know about healthcare from a group practice model, and that's a model that can be very helpful across the country. I've also had the privilege of serving on the board of a national health trade association called the American Medical Group Association. Represents 360 of the nation's largest medical groups like the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, the Oxford Clinic, the Vanderbilt Clinic, which you've used here, I'm sure, and the Jackson Clinic in Jackson, Tennessee. And I was very proud to be named chair of the board of that organization in 2008. I was very humbled. Very bright people turning to me and asking me to answer questions for them. I learned a lot from them, a lot more from them than I gave them back, I think. Some of the things I learned. We can have a uniquely American solution to our healthcare problem. We don't need a socialist system imported from Europe and fit it in our country. Because I know from my experience that the only way the government can cut costs is by rationing healthcare to you, me. When we're at our sickest, when we're in the hospital, and they decide we don't need healthcare anymore because we're too old. By pulling the plug on us when we're at our most vulnerable. So here's a bumper sticker for you. Save Grandma, unplug Pelosi. Because if we don't defeat Roy Harrod, the first vote he'll take is to re-elect Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. That cannot happen. It must not happen. Let me step aside just 1 minute and say, Tim Wergo. We must go to work for Tim Wergo. He has to take this seat because we need that majority in the House and in the Senate and the state legislature so that Republicans can redistrict this entire state on the state level and on the federal level. The House of Representatives is redistricted as well. So this congressional seat might change and be a more Republican seat if we can get redistricted. So it's critical that you get behind Tim Wergo for that reason and other reasons as well. I'm a Christian, I'm a Baptist deacon, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm pro-life and I'm pro-gun. Many of you probably know my uncle, or knew my Uncle Turner Kirkland over in Union City. I know Nick did and Martha did, who founded Dixie Gun Works years ago. Great example of a small business.